My name is Diana Bronson and I work for Food Secure Canada, which is a national network of nonprofits and individuals concerned with hunger, health, and sustainability in our food system. Huge issue in Canada. We have actually 4 million of our citizens who are unable to afford a healthy diet for their families, largely in Canada's north and remote communities, but also amongst working people. About 60% of the people who live in food insecurity actually have jobs. We have a big opportunity in Canada right now. Our government, after many years of lobbying, a decade of lobbying, the government has agreed to develop a national food policy that we hope will move us in the direction of a healthier and more sustainable food system where all Canadians can afford access to a healthy, sustainable diet. The big problem in our food system now is that we have different government departments working at cross purposes. You have a health department and an agriculture department working at cross purposes, or an environment department and a trade department working at cross purposes. So the idea behind a common food policy is to break down some of these silos and to have a more coherent and integrated approach with regards to public policy on food. So there's a move now internationally, certainly in the European Union, in Canada, and elsewhere in the world, to develop national food policies to begin to build coherence across these silos. Actually, some of those countries in many ways are leading the way. For example, in Brazil, there's some very interesting policies that have been instituted over the years. The adoption of zero hunger as a target, a democratization of food system governance has happened there as well. Some countries have enshrined the right to food in their domestic constitutions or in specific legislation. So those are very promising examples as well. Of course, each country has specific problems, and even different parts of each country can have specific problems, and we very much advocate for local solutions as well. You know, the food system is affected by decisions that are taken at the municipal, the regional, the national, and the international level. And there too, we can have policies working at cross purposes. For example, we can put limitations on public procurement of local and sustainable foods under international trade agreements. But on the other hand, governments want to use their purchasing power to support local farmers. So these two things are in contradiction, and we want to try and eliminate those contradictions. Food is also a huge part of climate change. The emissions related to the industrial agricultural system are very, very high at all levels. They can be reduced. Food and agriculture is part of the solution to climate change. In order for it to be so, we have to start looking at it with that lens. There's all kinds of interesting practices in Canada, interesting, innovative community practices, from more sustainable agricultural practices to local agriculture, alternative fisheries models. There's many, many, many innovations. Unfortunately, when our government talks about innovation, very frequently they're only referring to technological innovations, but actually there's many, many social innovations. To really tackle the problem of food security in Canada or anywhere else, we need to tackle the problem of poverty. These are tightly linked problems. Some initiatives that are ongoing is just people taking the food system into their own hands and just going ahead and doing it, sort of exercising their own food sovereignty. So, for example, we're seeing this in many First Nations communities where there's now programs where, for example, elders will teach young people how to hunt, how to fish, how to engage in hunting and gathering in traditional ways. That is actually increasing not only the cultural pride, but food security in their communities. Or instituting farmers markets or community-supported agriculture where we eliminate intermediaries, which are, taking a profit at every step of the supply chain and providing the benefits more directly to farmers, for example. Community-supported agriculture has allowed many small and medium-sized farmers to thrive. And without that kind of taking food back into our own hands, they would be subjected to how much the big supermarkets want to pay for their goods, and often that's not enough for them to gain a decent livelihood.